A song for Thomas.
That was hard, bro.
Hey, buddy. Song for the puppy. Ready to rock your roller?
It's everybody ready and steady.
Oh, went down the rope path.
Shit,
Damn.
Sometimes.
That is how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you think it's going to be the esophagus and it just turns out to be the old windpipe. Water down the windpipe.
Yeah, I'm drowning in here. Just like that's like exactly my life in the water, but you're living in there right now. So just how it goes. When I go into the water, it just goes straight to the bottom, sink. But no, I know how to swim now, which is really, really good.
Well, that's why it's like, like the old gangster takedown where it's like, they take you and they put like the life floaty underneath your arms and then they puncture your lungs with like a screwdriver and you're in the water.
Yeah.
So you're like gasping for air with your head above water. But because your lungs are punctured, you're drawing water into your lungs.
So you can't even breathe.
Yeah, drowning with your head above water, bro. It's crazy.
I guess the best place to be if you're like surrounded by gangsters, just going to like a nice field of water. If you could swim, because I'm
a nice field of water.
I don't know what did they call it? A field of water? What was it?
I don't know what you call it. I guess like a body of water, right?
That's what it's called.
So it'd be like a lake or a billabong?
Well, it has to be a body. What is it? A leg of water? A leg of water or an arm? What about the forehead water? No one appreciates the forehead water, huh?
Nah, you don't. Well, you might get like, you can get like kidney pools.
Whoa, there's a kiddie pool. What about the pool? That's a bathing pool.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
And then they call where it comes off the river, it's like veins, the little runoffs and stuff like that. They call them veins.
What about the forehead? What about
the forehead doesn't get much mention.
What about the back of the head? The back of the head filled with water.
You'll get like the beach head though.
Beach head.
So they do have the head on the beach.
Yeah. What about an ass? The butt of the water. Is there a butt? Booty? They got a booty of water?
A booty of water. I don't know. That's probably like your sewage deposits, like that brown water.
Trademark. Booty water.
Booty water.
Booty water trademark. we got this fresh booty water here, trademark by 52 games only. Cheers. Booty water right here. If anything, this is the freshest booty water you can get because it's a special ingredient. You know the special ingredient?
The special ingredient, I'm guessing, there's a bit of booty.
Nah.
Nothing crisps that water up for a fresh refreshment than a bit of booty that goes with it.
No, crazy. This is boiled. This is boiled.
Boiled booty water.
This is boiled water. So we got that B. The B water. Booty water. There we go. Booty stands for boiled. Got a couple of things right here. Just gonna put that over.
Oh, here we go. Like grains of sand through the hourglass, such as the days of our lives.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they had in the days of our lives.
Yeah, I could be a little off, but I'm pretty sure that's the start of the days of our lives.
It was like the days of our lives. It's
like, filmed before a live audience.
What? Dun, 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 dun. I don't know.
I don't know either, man. I've never really watched The Days of Our Lives. I've seen like maybe a few episodes. It's pretty like hyper dramatic though.
It's high production.
Crazy stories, I didn't realize like how like cartel and gang affiliated it all was.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit.
There you go. I watched this one episode. This dude like got in with the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
Goes to hospital cause he's dying.
Yeah.
And then like the gang like full works with the hospital to revive him, just to let him know that they're gonna kill him.
What?
Then they pull the plug on him.
Fuck shit.
And then like kill him. But then he like pulls through again. And then by the end of the episode, they had like an assassin come in to take him out once more just to make sure he was dead.
That's some fuck
So
shit.
this poor dude that like got into a bad transaction or whatever ended up getting killed like 3 times in one episode.
That's some fuck shit. 3 times. Damn. I couldn't take nothing like that. I was kind of like, I feel like I was traumatized by it when I was younger because it was like, I want to watch something like a kid should watch. And I'm sitting there probably with my auntie or my, like back in the day, God bless her soul.
Yeah.
You know, like she would always watch the Days of Our Lives. So I'll meet my grandma, God bless her soul. And I'm like, can I just change the channel? And she was like, no, I'm watching Days of Our Lives. And if it's not Days of Our Lives, it's the news. And if it's not the news, just go outside because I'm watching when I'm watching. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
for my auntie it was Coronation Street, if you've ever heard of that one. That's like a New Zealand based drama.
Okay. So
Kinda.
it's the same thing.
Well, no, it wasn't quite as soap opera-y as like Days of Our Lives. It was more like I don't know what's an American one, because it's like all I think of is like Neighbours and Home and Away and things like
so
that.
like a sitcom, pretty much.
Nah, well, I wouldn't say it's a sitcom. It's just like a
Dramedy.
yeah, maybe like a dramedy, but it's not so much comedy. You know what I mean? It's like
Yes.
it just follows people's day-to-day
Oh.
lives.
What would be like Joan of Arc?
Like Dawson's Creek,
Dawson's
probably, or
Creek.
something
Yeah,
like that.
so it's not Days of Our Lives, but it's Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
It's lazy drama. Yeah, like kind of like Supernatural. Sadly, is kind of like that, but it's
Does that still even run?
Nah, it doesn't run anymore.
It's finally done?
Yeah. Now, I mean, like, all right. I'm not. All right.
I love
guess-
the Impala on that show, man.
Huh?
The Impala he had, the '69 Impala. God, that was a nice car.
Dude, I don't understand why the show has a stigma now about it. Like, I have to be like, oh man, I have to hush that I like Supernatural. Like, yo, that's a bitch show. That shit gay. And I'm like, it's brothers. It's brothers. This shit is cool as fuck. What are you talking about?
Brotherly love is pretty tight.
Brotherly love is awesome, bro. My bro is cool as fuck. All my brothers. So it was like, what do you mean? Like, and at least it was like, if anything, you can respect it because it's like, boom. Well, girls love this shit because it's like, oh, I like Dean. I like Sam. And I'm like, get the fuck out of the room. Because back then, my ex-girlfriend had got me onto the show at the time, right? So my ex at the time got me onto the show. And when she got me onto the show, I didn't think she knew I was about to go, I love this fucking show. This is my favorite show of all time. Favorite show of all time, Dean is the motherfucking man. Dean is the motherfucking man. I would in 1967, right? 1967 Chevy Impala.
No, 1969 Chevy Impala.
1969.
And then they trashed it in with that truck and
It always
the
gets
season match.
trashed, man. It always gets trashed. That car is an angel. That car is like a blessing from God. I'm pretty sure they had that in the show. And it was like always gets trashed, and they bring it back. And it's like, yeah. When I seen that shit, I was like, yeah, I know. I need to know how to do some mechanic work. I need to know how to do all of that shit. Smash my car, bend that shit back together, fucking hammer it out, paint it, get the parts that you need back, freaking make sure the shit works, and get it back on the road.
Yeah.
And like,
Well, that's if you see my car that I got right now. It was a wreck, man. It like dead set, hit like a post, slid out, smashed into the safety barrier.
yeah,
It's all banged up and stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
I was able to get it back on the road for like $1,000, you know? Way
That's
cheaper
good.
than getting a new car.
that's good.
So
That's good. That's real good.
I'm technically driving a wreck at the moment, but it gets me from A to B and I can't complain.
Can't complain, bro. See now, like some people would be like, some people. I'm not gonna point out any genders, but some people would be like, it has to be something brand new. It has to be something sparkly, It's like, what are you talking about?
Well, this car I'm driving now, even though it's a bit of a wreck, but it has an aux cable port in it. It's the
Stop.
first
See,
car,
come
car
on,
I've
come
with
on.
an aux cable port.
And
in
that
it,
shit,
so-
that's a gem because like, oh fuck yeah, I can listen to gosh damn music.
yeah,
That's
man.
my plug.
Plug the tunes, listen to my podcasts and audiobooks and stuff while I drive. It's awesome.
You know what sucks about having an iPhone?
You can't do none of that. Oh, well, you got to get the stupid port thing, right?
There's no auxiliary cord.
Well, there is, but you got to get like the little thing that turns it from an aux cable to
To
an
an
iPhone
iPhone.
cable.
Yeah.
The adapter. That's
Guarantee you it costs like $900 like every other iPhone product.
Yeah. I am really bad Apple, man. This is the time I was researching into it, and out of all like international corporations, for
Yeah.
something that promotes, connectivity and family so much, and they were like disregarding human rights so badly that they had like the highest suicide rate out of any like international corporation. I think it was like back in 2013, 2014.
Wow.
Not to say that like a lot of the companies like Samsung and stuff are much better, but
See, the messed up, I gotta stop soon. The messed up thing, right, is that these corporations, these companies, right, they tell you a lot by their logos. What is the Apple logo? Apple logo is Adam and Eve.
yeah, the biting of the forbidden fruit,
It's the
man.
biting of the forbidden fruit, and we're using the forbidden fruit. They have it. I mean, at least they have it. They have the logo letting you know, like, hey, this is the forbidden fruit you're using. The same thing. And it's like, well, maybe people might think about it, oh, boo hoo, you're being crazy Christian type. You don't know what you're talking about. But, bro, when I was younger, I thought about that same thing. I saw this woman, or I saw this video of this lady, right? And she was like, look at the monster can. The monster can has three strikes. That means 666 is the sign of the devil. And I was like, oh no, God bless her soul. She just, she just kind of,
She was woke, my friend.
yeah, she was smart. She was smart because it's exactly what it means.
Exactly.
It's in Hebrew. It's like there's legitimately Hebrew lettering. And like it's like that with all of these symbols. Apple logo, you see the Google logo has a 666 sign, and the shit it's just like CERN, CERN. Their symbol has a 666 sign is similar to the Google symbol on the phone. You have the Apple Store. If you turn it upside down, you see it's a sigil of the devil, right? Like not just an upside down pentagram, a sigil of the devil. So like, like even you have like different you can even go on your phone and look at all of the sigils, like all of the symbols of these apps. You see eyeballs, you see pyramids, you see 666, you see the devil sigils, and it's all there in front of your face. And it's like, oh, it's not there though, right? You're being really naive and ignorant to the fact that for the only reason why this shit exists is because of its acceptance.
Look at your M closely. There's a gap right here in the letter M. It's never connected. So you go into Hebrew. The letter Vav is also the number 6. Short top, long tail. Short top, long tail. You could have here in Hebrew 666 on the can. But my interest is the word monster. What do you see in the O? There's a cross.
Okay.
What has Christ got to do with an energy drink, let alone the name Monster? So I thought, well, maybe this is a Christian company then. BFC at the bottom of the can. Do you know what that stands for? That's the F word. Big can. In fact, they write it on the side of the can, so I know that's the F word.
Okay.
Now, do you know what a MILF is?
Yes.
That's on the box. MILFs dig it, and you will too. This is not a Christian company at all. So why would they have put a cross on the can? Here is the message. Antichrist. 666 in Hebrew. And then the Bible talks about the beast in Revelation. And look at Monster's ad. This is their statement. You see these M's everywhere. Hats, t-shirts, bumper stickers. Is there another agenda here? If God can use people and product, so can Satan. And look at it this way. Even if the M was not the issue, you cannot deny that that is a cross. And what is witchcraft? When the cross goes upside down, bottoms up, and the devil laughs. Something to think about.
Wow.
This is how clever Satan is and how he gets into the Christian home and a Christian's life, and it breaks God's heart.
Is acceptance. Now, and we're being naive and ignorant to these people who are telling us these truths, right? And we're like, nah, you're just crazy. whatever. Or at the end of the day, like they'll be like, oh, well, even if you're right, I don't care. I got mouths to feed. I got bills to pay. But it's like, bro, at the end of the day, what they're talking about is so much more important than any of that at the same time.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the Satanist strain is on the rise and has always kind of like existed, you know, or coincided with society as much as we try to like, you know, claim to be woke and claim to be on like these right paths and stuff like that. It's really something that is, you know, like shown to us in everyday sort of living through symbology of like different like sigils and stuff that come up even in like your apps and things like that. But it's also
And
something.
rap music, yep, and rap music and rap videos. Boy, you're talking the truth, my
But-
bro. You're talking the truth.
It's also something that it's like, you know, it can't be like outspoken, you know? Like to those that are in the know, it remains like a refined sort of knowledge. And
Yeah.
there is that acceptance that's like, you know, slowly networks out. And it's like it will find its way to you once you're in a place where they think you're ready to accept and like get on board with it.
Yeah.
But then the rest of society is kind of just like convinced to be like, oh, this person's crazy and just laugh it off, you know, and just be
Well-
like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, you know, this is some nutty old bird that's saying that this is like the symbol of the devil. And it's like, come on, lady, it's just an energy drink, you know?
Well, see, here's the thing, man. You know what? This is the funny thing. So you say all of that, and here's the truth. We have sources like media, right? We have the news. We have mainstream media. We have social media, you know, internet media now. And the thing is, it's all cogs, not even cogs in the system. It's all clouds. It's all clouds. It's all fog that's covering over the true monster behind it. All of this shit is all clouds, and when you go through all of the fog, and you're so deep into the forest, and you're just combing through all of this fog, when you're so deep, and then you get to the end, and you see the monster, you have miles of fog to travel back through, nigga, and you can't make it. You're near that monster, and now you know. And now it's a crazy analogy, but what I'm talking about is this. Media will say you're conspiracy theorists, right? And now that word has definition, and there's nothing crazy, but I can't just say they. People in media, mass media, manipulated media, when they give out their scripts to these actors, they give out these scripts to these actors. These scripts are created by somebody. These scripts are signed off by somebody. All of these news media outlets all around the country, all around the world, usually they have the same script. And they also say it the same way. Have you seen that clip of like the thousands of news anchors saying the exact clip? Have you saying the exact
I've
thing?
seen things like it.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put it up.
Checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
I think you get the idea there.
But that's the thing, is controlled media. So when somebody comes and tells the truth on something, say Jeffrey Epstein, or Epstein Island, or the list of people who are on that island, right? When you see things like that and they're like, hush, hush, shut up, they kill him off, the story dies. Oh yeah, now we got Jocelyn Maxwell, right? She's in jail, everything's good. Everything's not good. Who's the people? Who's on the list? The president was on the list, wasn't he? Shut up. What are you talking about? No one was on the list. Moving on. Hurricane Katrina, you know. Moving on. And you try to bring it up, they were like, moving on.
Exactly, yeah. You know, it's methods of distraction always.
So
There's something to talk about, yes.
It's always something to talk about. And if not, they'll just create it. Like we were talking in the last episode, That's why we're talking about like Britney Spears and George Bush on like all of the things that was happening around 9/11, and you're talking about war and the spoils of war, the oil fields that the Bushes owned. Hey, Britney Spears, shut the fuck up. You know, that's what I think. Like maybe not, and I could be wrong. You know, but the fact of the matter is, like, when things happen when they're talking about Christian stuff, like, and I'll say Christian stuff because it's dealing with true Satanism. We talked about in the last episode, I spoke briefly on satanic people cloaked in different religions, right? They make their pathways in the religion, they like, it's kind of like politics. It's politics. But it's politics in the religion. They come and they erase some words here, erase some words here, and they make a way to cloak themselves into this thing. Just like I said, how can you read a book? How can you be Christian and read a book that believes that Jesus is in hell burning in feces? Right? So, that just being said, when you see the movies or the television or the movies and the shows, right? I watch a lot of horror movies, right? And now, because I watch a lot of horror movies, what is kind of entailed with horror usually? Like, you got the monsters, but you also got like the occult, right? Mm-hmm. So, John F. Kennedy, this is what I wanted to tell you about. John F. Kennedy had a famous speech, and his speech, you know, boiled into a nutshell, was saying this: there's secret societies that exist, and we can't just tell the people, just like how they can't just tell the people aliens exist, because people just go nuts. What they will do is they will ease the information onto the people with news and media and entertainment, right? So that means through the music, through the movies, through the news, they will ease you in to the truth because they don't want people to go in a panic. And it's pretty sure, all right, so first I'm going to show you this clip of John F. Kennedy's speech, okay? Have you seen the movie Cabin in the Woods?
Yes.
Remember what happened at the end of Cabin in the Woods?
It's been a while since I've seen that. I know that it's all about. It starts off and they're like creating all the different horror movies and stuff, but it's all part of like a satanic ritual to like summon like either the primordial,
ancient gods. Yeah,
primordial beasts and demons of the world, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That type of shit right there is just telling you, like, what this speech, where, like, cause, like, now, I personally feel, cause, like, guess what? Just like last time, I'm dumb, and I don't know what I'm talking about, right? I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's a good way
do
to
your own research.
Obliviousness is bliss.
Right? Because, like, I'm dumb and I don't know what I'm talking about. So do your own research, and there's no hate involved in anything that we're saying. God bless those Satanists as well, because I hope to God that they see the truth. So what these movies, what I seen in these horror movies and shit, bro, is like, I definitely gotta say this before I lose it. What I see in these horror movies, right, is that the occult is, Marvel movies, like the octopus from what Captain America, it's not just octopus, it's called
like the Kraken.
What was the it was. There's Captain America and there's America, right? And he's going against Red Skull, and Red Skull is a part of what team? Like, he's a part of, like, he's not Nazi, but it's like this Marvel's version of the Nazis.
I like can vaguely picture like what you're talking about because that's the one where it's like the brother or whatever that he has, and it's not like a brother, but it's a good friend that gets brainwashed by that organization that's creating the super soldiers.
Yes. They had their sigil was like an octopus or like a kraken, like you were saying, and it had a whole bunch of tentacles, right? So one thing that I've learned about the occult, and there's a bunch of words to stay steady, is like Legion. You know that Marvel, another Marvel show, Legion.
Yeah,
and it's talking to, and like it's actually about to come back, but it's like the Demon King, and it's Professor X's son, who's like, and Professor X battled a demon, a mental demon, and he had a son, and that mental demon was going after his son. That's what the story of Legion. It was like,
hey, I've never seen it, but I know of it because it's like that's one of the ones on the Netflix now, right?
Yeah, it was from FX before, right? So when you put pieces, when you see a whole bunch of horror movies, you see different pieces. They work in Legion, right? So it's like as a tentacle. So it doesn't matter your status. You can be very, very rich and famous, and you could be dirt poor. And now, what do you like? What the movies say, The Hills Have Eyes, or some crazy thing? You know, you have like the country bumpkin Satanists, right? Mm-hmm. And those same country bumpkin Satanists are on the same level as any rich and powerful freaking elitist Satanist.
I'd like to say that as a rich capitalist, I welcome your tyrannical rule. Perhaps I can be one of your, horsemen of the apocalypse?
Dad?
Not now, sweetie. The grown-ups are talking.
Oh, wow, that's a great offer. How about instead I shuffle the functions of every hole in your face?
Maybe, what's his name? I probably shouldn't say his name, because I'm not trying to get fucked up. You know? But I think his name starts as George or something like that. You know, like he elite. He like owns a lot of shit. I don't even want to put his picture up there because I don't want to get fucked up. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your status. So like the same, like maybe country bumpkin Satanists do like the real dirty shit, like wear pig faces and shit like that. Like, you know, what they portray in the movies, do that real satanic occult shit. Mm-hmm. You know, even in Marvel movies, you see the witches and shit like that. I'd be seeing like, oh, these girls, these Wiccan girls, like, oh, we're good witches, we're light witches. Technically, there's no such thing, because witches back in the day were the followers of Lucifer. They wanted to do evil. All right. So yeah, all good and dandy that you want to be good light Wiccans or whatnot, but you know, I wouldn't. That's just my purpose. I wouldn't, but it's whatever. Do what you do. People have their gifts. You know, if you can see ghosts and stuff like that, you have your gift. Whatever. That's a blessing from God.
Well, that's kind of like, it reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist, actually. The law of equivalent exchange, you know? And it's like, even if you try to do the power of good or something, every force that you put out there has to have like some sort of exchange that comes from it. So when you're practicing in the dark arts, you know, even if you're trying to do things of goodness from the dark arts, obviously that has to like draw energy from something.
Yep.
And that something clearly is like, you know, the workings of the devil. In this instance, maybe not, you know.
Exactly, because I'm the one person, but I don't know shit, all right? I don't know. I'm better off. Just saying, I don't really know, you know? But yeah, so now when I seen that where like they work in, it's like a tentacle, they work in, it doesn't matter. People everyone has their role. Everyone has their role. And they're showing this through the movies and what they're doing. And when you can connect the dots, just like last time, I connect the dots to see Kim Kardashian probably is a witch. Collecting fucking hair like that. Alright. When you connect the dots and you see what they're telling you in the movies, they're telling you the same shit that they're doing in the Bible. When you see it and happening in real life, because the shit does happen in real life, they're putting is energy work. It's energy work. They're releasing energies into this earth to fall upon some poor victim. It's energy work, you know. So when they do that shit and they cast out these energies, and this energies just goes and it's just like fucking some ghosts just flying around, just waiting, like the Deathly Hollows in Harry Potter, just like those Dementors.
Yep.
Just a dark fucking shadow just flying around, just waiting to fall on some hopeless victim. That's what they're doing.
That's the power they put out there, man. 100%. You know, it's like out of everyone that's kind of come up to fame and stuff like that, at least 90% of them talk about like large level sacrifice, practicing of the dark arts and stuff, and having to like, you know, sell their soul or do something that put them closer to like satanic spirits and or the devil to claim that the fame that they have. You know, so it's like, yes, they're getting this great fortune, but that fortune came at a great cost as well.
I don't see it. Where is it? Oh, what the was that? What? Wait. Look at this, look at this. Bro, it has arms. Look, it has arms. Look it. You can see the arms? And then look, it just lands in the crowd and goes through like everybody. You know what I'm saying?
And so it's like to all those that burn brightly, you know, like what flames are diminished to add the fuel to those fires.
Yo, absolutely. You have to be the water to the fire that these people cast out evils. So if they're casting out all of this fire, we just got to find some way to be the water to suppress that fire. Because...
Well, what the crazy thing is, though, is like, I think that we like naturally know how to be the water to that fire and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's more so that like the societal brainwashing that like, you know, can push us away from being able to do that, you know, and like, you know, we're trained to be that fuel. We're trained to be pushed towards capitalism. Like, you know, I'm sure you've had conversations in the past, like with people where it's like, you know, imagine a world without any money.
Yeah, no, imagine a world without any money. It would be a bartering system or something like.
Well, I think that it's like, you know, scientists would still want to research. You know, that's where their passion lies. Doctors would still want to heal. Comedians would still want to tell, like,
entertain.
Would just take that pressure off of everyday living, you know, and it's like that pressure and that want, you know, that it's like that creates that desire. That's what fuels it, you know, is because it's like, you know, if you want these successes, you got to do these things and stuff, and it puts people into a corner, you know, where it's like, you know, I need to feed my family, I need to do this or whatever, you know, and it like creates that open opportunity for people then to be susceptible to being like, you know, well, if you take this demonic step, not that you're selling it like a demonic step or whatever, you know, that's going to put you closer to where you feel you need to be doing the right thing by your family or something.
In a way, you always have your own type of excuse, pretty much. For you have, I mean, you have your excuses for the reasons. You have your reasons. That's your reasons. Or you have your reasons or excuses for the things that you do.
Yeah.
Because that's why I would quickly go to the mindset of when someone takes that demonic step to do something for their family, that's the reason that you're doing the demonic step is for your family, but your excuse for doing those demonic things.
Well, it creates like accountability across the whole board, you know, because it allows someone to do something that might be outside of their character.
Or outside of what's moral or what's written as moral.
But it's like, I'm not a bad person because I'm doing this for the right reasons. But then it also might change the perception or accountability to the person that's now trying to sell these concepts onto the person. Because they're not like, you know, I want you to do these demonic things. They're like, you know, this is what's going to be right by your family, you know. And now this person that would be against that or open to like, not open to that sort of stuff. Now they're being brainwashed into not seeing the darkness of what it is that they're doing, because it's like, this is a step to help your family, and they get tricked into thinking that the darkness is actually works of light.
And on top of that, they get all of that cloud, all of that fog all that fog that clouds the beast of that contract of what you're doing. If they're telling you to do some demonic stuff, but they're flashing money in your eyes, your stacks are too high, you can't even see what people are saying. Right?
That's truth, man, you know? Because everybody's working to that point where you can just be like, I don't care what you have to say, you know? Isn't that like the American dream? To be at that point where it's like, I don't have to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody works towards.
Right? So that you see that's the laws of the land. So what God is that? Because it says on our money, in God we trust. What God are we trusting on that money?
Yeah, well, that's the fallacy, I guess, of it all, right? Because that's not really any sort of act of God.
I don't think that's God.
But
Not the God I know.
that's also where it was like, you know, how did Eve first get into that forbidden fruit, you know?
Who the salesman?
Because I'm sure
Who's
that it
little tricky
wasn't.
salesman?
I'm sure it wasn't like a, you know, this is a bad act or anything, you know. It was probably sold as like a, this is the natural step that you need to take to do what's right for your kind and to evolve and move forwards.
See,
And so it was like a, you know, I will sacrifice myself by eating this fruit for the betterment of everyone that's to come after me.
what is the story of Hamlet? Do you know the story of Hamlet?
The story of Hamlet? I should know the story of Hamlet, but I wouldn't say that I could recite it, no.
Huh.
Unfortunately.
Alright, so there's this movie on Netflix. So you should watch it. I don't want to give it away too much, but it like where you see
Was
this.
Hamlet the one that couldn't get his hands clean?
I don't know, bro.
I'm pretty sure it was something to do with like he had to murder someone close to him,
Ah, really?
like the family, and then he like slowly went insane and like kept seeing the blood on his hands and wasn't able to like wash the blood off of his hands and went insane because of that.
You might be right.
I'm
You
pretty
might be
sure
right.
that ties to Hamlet.
Alright.
Don't quote me.
Alright, so let me alright, so
But while you look that up too, you know, that's the moneyless system I think has proven in like third world nations and stuff too, because like there's been many third world nations that are only derived as third world by first world countries, you know,
okay.
that have lived in these systems where it's not based off currency, but people just doing what they're passionate about, people helping people, you know, and like beautiful communities. And what really has pushed them to like third world standings where now it's like war torn and people controlling other people has been the input of first world living.
Yeah.
You know, we pushed ourselves in there like, hey, we'll give you these things, you know, in exchange for like resources or something. But it's like, if you've never dealt in like, you know, you've got like say oil deposits and stuff like that, and you've stumbled across it, you know that it's a useful liquid that can like power different things that you've like looked into and stuff, but you don't know the value of it.
Yeah.
Now somebody's like, I'm going to give you all of these cool things, like, you know, we'll give you food, we'll give you schools, we'll give you hospitals and medicines and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is all really useful stuff. But that all comes with a dollar value.
Yeah.
And now you're talking to somebody that's never used a dollar in their life, so they don't understand how money works or anything. So then it's like, you owe us all of this money for these things that we're going to give to you, but because you don't have money, we want your resources. And then the people that are giving them these things are now setting the value of what their resources are worth for the dollar exchange that they're looking for.
That probably had their rate compared to someone else's rate.
Exactly. And it pushes these people into debt, where
Yeah.
it's like the only thing that I think was taken from it is that it's like these resources depict value, and like that value and resource then depicts power. And, you know, it's like the capitalist
evil.
drive of
That shit
not so
evil.
much money, but the want of money.
That
That's
shit
what's
is evil.
sold.
That shit is evil as fuck. And that's just the same way as a contract.
Mhm.
It's the same way as a contract. Like, hey, we want to come through. It's a fucking evil salesman. It's an evil salesman. Hey, I have this. And this is a different type of bartering system because it's a corporation bartering system. And you're talking about beasts. Talking about fucking vampires and werewolves and fucking demons. These guys are underneath the cloak of one organization, and they're coming through to ravage your entire country, which is kind of fucking crazy. And like again, I have this speech pulled up from John F. Kennedy. This is a speech that got him killed. All right, that's the crazy thing, because he's talking about all of this shit, where it's like there's secret societies, there's evil people who cloak in the form of governments, in the form of leaders, in the form of, just like I'm talking about the octopus of all of the Satanists, they could be in anything, position of power. At the end of the day, the church that they go to is the church of evil. And so when they congregate, all of the people from all around, they all doing the same thing. But their goal isn't the benefit or for the good of people or mankind. They're being tricked by that same trickster. Because these people are either poor souls who are being confused, or these are people who knowingly doing what they want to do. Like what they want to do. And if they're knowingly doing what they want to do,
well, that's the thrive of luxury, right?
God bless them the same
They
way.
exchange their soul for luxury to be then like taken on by these spirits, entities, whatever you want to call it. Because it's like,
Energies.
yeah, I've heard of people talking about like how, you know, like the rich and the powerful, it's more of a form of possession. So it's like for like consciousnesses to live and extend upon their own means by living through different beings, which is how like possession and things exist, you know, and like an evil entity is able to jump from body to body, body to body, and survive through the ages and gain that knowledge. But then you also hear of people that say that like the elite are lizard people. And like either some sort of like primordial demon or like some sort of alien entity that lives upon this earth and monitors and enslaves us to the things that they want to learn
So
or get from us, you know?
I absolutely hear that, and I agree to those words, but those words, because it's like the words is what it is. It's the vernacular, it's the grammar. Alien, right? Alien, what is alien? Alien probably is like not human, right?
Well, it depends on the terms. I mean, an alien also is
not of this earth.
also someone from another country that didn't get their papers and stuff.
That's
you know?
true talk.
If there's like a Chinese person in this country without any sort of papers to get in here or a visa, then that would be considered like an illegal alien.
Yeah, but if anything, like the alien would be not of this earth, right?
Yeah.
And who do we know of as the first alien?
Like E.T.
No, the devil. The devil.
Well, in the same sense that then the God is not of this earth, and
He's
none
the creator of this earth. He's not from this earth. No, he's
Yeah,
not.
but then the God created Lucifer, so wouldn't God be the first alien?
Well, I mean,
Not of this earth.
Well, I mean, like, I don't even know if God went on and lived on this earth. You know, probably he did. You know, for all I know.
Well, I'm sure that Lucifer embodied something and lived on this planet.
Well, yeah.
too.
Well, we know from the Bible that Lucifer is stricken down and fell to this earth. Him and his 23 fucking followers, right? So, like, if anything, if there's any aliens, it's them. And on top of that, like, it's so much because, like, that junk connects to a different symbol where you're talking about Lucifer falling from heaven and his followers who fell. You know, Paramount movies.
Yep. Or Paramount Pictures.
Paramount Pictures. See those 23 12 stars that fly over the water, and they go crescent over this mountain.
Yeah.
That mountain is Mount Hermon, and it's on this GPS. Like his GPS location is like 666 or something. Mount Hermon, somewhere in like Syria or Israel or somewhere, I don't know, somewhere over there. But that's where apparently was a touchdown. So like in these movies and these corporations, they do little things like that to show you like, oh, these stars are representing these 23 demons that fell to earth, and they fell on this mountain. This mountain is Mount Hermon. Why are they saying that? It's a cult. It's symbology, and is because one thing I learned is that these demons, they work by the contract as well, and these people claim over you. right? They make claim on you when their soul, like your soul is not theirs to take. Your soul is God's. God is your creator, period. So, but these things, whether you want it to, like, cause if you're not well foundationed in the love and choosing of Christ, the Lord God, right? You're kind of like on the battlefield without any protection. You know, there's the guy is the main guy. He's looking over you. You know, but because you don't have no stable foundation in His love and what He's about, there's no armor for you. You don't have no knowledge. You don't know your enemy. You know, you're on the battlefield naked, pretty much, and like, you know, you're still being looked after. You know, but it'll be well better if you were more foundation in the love in Christ of God Almighty, right? Now, with that, like, these demons, they lay claim over your life, and it could be something that happened to your grandma, right? And that's the thing where, like, I found out where, like, say if your grandma was or something like that, right? And then, like, your mom, your mom loved to go into church, you know, and she was solid in Christ and the love in God and Yeshua, right? And I learned that saying that name's gonna get us banned. I got shadow banned for saying Yeshua.
True that.
It's all right. I guess what it is. So like you say your mom was like in the church and stuff, right? And then, like, you know, it says you and your sister, right? And, you know, your grandma got raped, but you don't know about that, right? And then, like, you know, end up your sister got raped. And it's traumatic, it's horrible, it's devastating, you know. And then you see maybe your grandma talks to your sister about whatever happened, you know, and your grandma opens up and tells her about her past, and they don't understand that spiritually it's a demonic attack. It's the spirit of that evil doing, that evil person with his demons, right? Or his or her demons, because it happens. That person inflicted harm onto you, and their demons just left a smudge on your life. And that life was that traumatic event, right? And that traumatic event was a curse onto your bloodline, right? Without God, you're not gonna get that curse removed until you're dead. You feel me? And like, again, that curse is on your bloodline. So it's like a family thing where your family needs to be involved with Christ and stuff. That's how you protect yourself. But so, like, when I learned this shit, and I'm like, oh wow, these motherfuckers are fucking slugs. They're parasites. They lay claim on you, like, and then they fucking inflict harm onto you. Just because I said an example of rape, there's an example of anger, of you know, of craziness, you know, like, there's like different, even like you say, like how maybe there's a dementia known in your family or something. That could be something like that, where you see it's so prevalent in everybody's generation, everybody gets it, right? Maybe that's a demon that's cursing your bloodline, you know? So, like, when I seen things, like, when I heard and see the things that I've heard and seen, I'm like, wow, things make a lot of sense. Whereas, like, you gotta cleanse yourself spiritually, because it's spiritual. Like, we're just in a sack, you know? We're just in a fucking sack, bro. Like, even if you look at yourself in a mirror, that's just who you look like right now. You know, you physically change, right? Don't you physically droop down to the ground until you're 6 feet under, and then you don't know what you look like, but you look like something. You're gonna look like something. So it's like, it don't end here. And that's where it's kind of like, all right, well, we gotta do what you gotta do best. What you gotta do best on this platform, with this platform on this earth, is do your best to be the best human you can be, So when you're 6 feet under and you go to the next stage, you got less work to do. You still got work to do in new form.
Yeah, so it reminds me of like Shintoism. So the whole thing with Shintoism is that it's like you don't pray to any sort of deity or anything like that. It's all based around kami. Kami embodies like everything. So it's like you got kami spirit, I got kami spirit. Kami spirit's in the trees, in the land, and absolutely everything. And it's all about like finding that purity of spirit. So it's getting your spirit, because like each person has like 4 spirits in them, but it's like you've got your spirit, the spirit that you give to like a loved one, a spirit that takes you, like you take on adventure and stuff like that, and then the kami spirit, and it's getting your spirit as pure and as clean as what the kami spirit would be within you. And then there's like 42 different spiritual planes or whatever that we live on. So it's like when you would die, you would reincarnate into a certain level of planes, and then, you know, as you get to the highest plane is where you like become one with like kami, and at that point then it's like you rejoin into everything, I believe.
Okay.
I probably need to do a little bit more research into that, but it just reminds me of that, you know. It's like
That's more than I know. I like that. I like the fact that it talks actually about spiritual cleansing. That's good. That's good. Because people need that, especially in times like now. And like, people go into things like yoga, and yoga might be based on something that might not be too all that great. Because it's just like words that I'm hearing is all like really loosely based shit. Saying really loosely based, vague shit. But apparently, like, yoga isn't all that good in the teachings, and like, you know, but it is what it is. If you calm you down, do your shit, you know.
Yeah. Well, I don't actually know what would be involved in like the teaching of yoga, but because yoga to me was just more of like a clarity. It's exercise and stretching, so it's like the meeting mind and body. You know, it's like clearing your body of like, you know, because like when you stretch and stuff like that, I believe that you're stretching to remove like toxins and blockages and stuff to like be able to be free flowing and free forming.
Yes.
As well as clearing one's mind to be able to be clear of mind and free thinking and free flowing as well.
Dude, all right. So connect to that, right? So the yoga, and you see Karma Sutra, right? And that's the sex shit, right? No, there's that, right?
Well, that'd be like your tantric studies.
Hey, you little shit nugger. So there's yoga and there's Karma Sutra, right? And that's a sex shit, right? But then I remember seeing this thing, right? So, all right, so there's this picture, right? Of, you'll always see, like, there's a picture of when they're talking about people and energy. And, like, you seen, like, there's old kind of photo of this man. He was standing in like a circle. He's standing like his arms are out, his legs are out, right? Now, I'll put it up because I'll just put it up there when I find it.
It's like the mark of David you're talking about, where he's actually got like the forearms as well, where it's like 2 arms up like that, 2 arms going sideways.
Yeah, it was like, something like that. And I don't know if it was like medical or some shit like that where they use that photo for, but it was talking about maybe philosophy or something. It's just some basic photo of it. Now, I remember seeing something about like energy, right? And you see like, when you talk about your chakras, right? And you talk about from your crown to your root chakra, right? Now, it's a picture like an apple, right? How it has its core and it goes out. Like, it goes from the core and the stem comes out from the top, and like the circumference goes in and out, right? And that's kind of like the flow of energy, right? Out through the crown, in through the root, out through the crown, in through the root, right? So now, that's why I thought of that photo, because that photo does that same thing where that person is standing there and is like energy is surrounding him, but I'm pretty sure it's something the same where it's like energy goes out through the crown and like in through the root and shit like that, vice versa. With that energy like flows out through your chakra, you can force that energy out through any one of those chakras. And you force that energy out through your throat chakra, your thyroid chakra, like your abdomen is a chakra. That same energy that you take in, the same energy that you take in, if you take in negative energies into your little energy circle and it goes through you, it's going through your chakras, is leaving that same smudge on you when you go through those energies. When like be walking, right? Maybe it's like a little dimension, like if energies were like little dimensional pockets that you can't see. Just walking down the sidewalk, and then you just walk through a little energy pocket, and all of a sudden you just feel like get like hairs in the back of your head get like just go up. You feel kind of like tense, frightened for no reason, right? Thoughts get shot into your head. Be like, you're thinking about like somebody spooks your eyes. I always feel like somebody's watching me, right?
Yeah.
Right? There's no reason. Just turn around like, Chucky, where is he at, right? So like I think things are kind of weird like that, where like we're just on this third dimensional plane, and the fourth dimension exists. Whether people accept it or not, this shit exists, okay?
Yeah, well, that's that age-old adage too, where it's like, you know, a lot of people will see the world as we are like humans seeking spiritual experience, but the truth or the reality is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yeah, because we ain't ready.
Yeah.
We ain't ready yet.
And it's not getting caught up in that human experience that's the trick to it, as opposed to like seeking enlightenment outside of the humans that we perceive ourselves to be.
Yo, and what's scary is that is like we're living a human experience, like you said, but that spiritual experience is still happening regardless if we see it or not. And I'm pretty sure like the temperature is the same as you see the human experience, that's the spiritual experience. And I always were able to like try to depict it out as this, like, and I said this shit to my little brother just yesterday, like take a specific area, right? And compare that area to like an alleyway. And you're talking 12 midnight. You'd rather like area where you want to be, like say McDonald's parking lot. 12 a.m. You want to be at McDonald's parking lot rather than you would be at the fucking alleyways, right? Why? Because spiritually, what's in that alleyway at 12 midnight? Nothing good.
Nothing good.
Nothing good. And if there's any body in that alleyway, physically, nothing good.
Well, I don't know, man. You know, you could be getting sucked off in the alleyway, and that's probably a good spiritual time, right?
Well, I mean, but I'm pretty sure that them demons who's getting, like, the demons who's doing and getting, but the people, yeah, they just doing their thing humanly, right? But, like, I kind of compare it like that, where it was like, you know, it's kind of like the upside down in Stranger Things. You know, whereas, like, that's the spiritual world. Like, everything's the same, but it's spirit. The things that you can't see. And like that Demogorgon shit is there regardless if you see it or not, even though this one child could see it, you know, and now it's apocalyptic land and we're like, why? What the fuck is going on? When a couple of people can see what's happening spiritually and the shit is fucking war.
Yeah, that's when you look into like things like schizophrenia and things like that as well.
What are you seeing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like,
is it just like one losing reality of one's mind, or is it something where it's like, you know, because there's only a certain spectrum of vibrations that we can perceive.
Yeah.
You know, there's like light that exists outside of the light that we can see and stuff like that. So it's like maybe these people are literally, you know, starting to perceive more of the image than what we can actually perceive, and that's where it's like, to us it seems lost, like they're seeing all these things that we as people, like, you know, can't see, so we cannot comprehend and understand.
Can't comprehend and understand it.
What they're really seeing is like real events to them.
They're just like a
the
microphone
color concept, like, you know, it's like if somebody saw like green as your orange,
I was about to think orange.
You would never know that,
dude. That's different right there, because I was about to say orange, bro. I swear to God, I was about to say orange. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And it's crazy because it's like, I don't back then, right, when I was younger, it was like I never, you know, they had some harsh words and vocabularies that we can't say now without having to bleep it, like the R word. right? And now the R word is meant for people who's not mentally challenged. Or you know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of freaking retards out here who's not mentally challenged, and I'm gonna fucking say it like that. You feel me? Yeah. So people would claim to be mentally challenged and shit, dude, I never thought that shit ever, because anybody who I met who were mentally challenged were fucking smarter than any motherfucker. My God, I know this kid, God bless his soul. I love this dude to the day Holmes died. This guy is great. He'll know your birthday. He know the day he was born. He know what time he was born or some shit. He know like, on the day you were born, it was raining, and then the sun came out. Some shit like that, you know. It's just like he always makes you feel good. Even if he says some fucked up shit, because he was younger, so he always says some fucked up shit, right? And you'd be like, yo, you'd be like, yo, you just, yo, you know what? You get a pass. you just defiled me where you were. Just like, this dude used to call me Pop-Tart. And I was like, what did you say? Don't you dare let that shit come on. Don't you dare let people start getting, oh, hey, Pop-Tart. Every time I'm like, boy, I'm not gonna say his name. I'm like, yo, boy, don't you dare say this shit till you know word, right? Love him to death. But it was like, it's always he's smart as shit, no math. I met other people who know math off of the dime, like, oh, what's 3,000 times 1,100? I don't know. Fucking boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No time points in history. I'm like, they just don't see what they're on a different frequency, right? And when you were talking about frequencies, it spiked to me because everything is frequency. Music, fucking, I guess there's like I listen to a lot of, you know what binaural beats are? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Frequency, harmonics, right? They have the tones and harmonies. And like they're talking about, you know, like I think it was like 432 is like a God frequency or something like that. Frequencies for healing and shit.
432, that might be the frequency where it's like they took a recorder and they like did the frequency that the world rotates at. And so I think that the natural frequency of the world is like 432, and it is a healing frequency.
Heck yeah. But the thing now these evil people have places like HAARP throwing off the natural frequencies and going back to just like, you know, just when we were talking about the person with the energy going through his core and out through his root, just like the Earth with Antarctica and what's up there? Antarctica and South Antarctica? Wait. Antarctica.
Yeah.
And there's
you got like the South Pole.
South Pole.
Mm-hmm.
Antarctica. Right. Is
Well,
Antarctica on both top and
You
bottom?
got the Antarctic and then the Arctic.
So what's on top? Arctica?
I think it'd be Arctic would be the north, and then Antarctic would be the south.
So Antarctica, the little ice, and Arctica is on top. They don't say Arctica too much.
No,
We just say Canada. It's just Canada up there. What's that? Was this the wall? Right? This is where Game of Thrones was shot, right? But it's just like that's where like the polarities of the Earth. It's up through the core, out through the crown and up through the root. And it's just like us and people. And like I guess like they try to throw the shit off the axes, or like just a comet coming by the Earth would throw the Earth off his axis, which is crazy shit. Because they will fuck us all up.
Well, everything has its own magnetic poles in that sense too, because it's like, you know, like the currents and the water levels in the ocean flows off of like the magnetic pole of like the moon going around the planet and stuff.
Yep.
And then but also with like that natural magnetic flow, they also like say that throughout history, like where the Great Freeze happened and other like great events that have taken place where it like was the destruction of the world and then the rebirth of the world, was like the swapping of those polarities and stuff. So the big fear is that eventually as like, you know, because it's like not an even axis and it all throws around and stuff with those different magnetic pulls that eventually it'll like fluctuate and pull out of like north and south,
Yeah.
and then they'll pull and naturally, you know, like come out of alignment and then want to snap back, but it'll snap into like a reverse sort of thing. And in that process, it's like the world will see like great changes in temperature, the atmosphere will loosen and then retract in as that magnetic pull is like.
So everybody gonna shoot off into space.
Well, I mean,
We
yeah,
probably won't survive that part.
things probably
We're probably
will shoot
gonna
off
get
to
dead.
space, but I think the
We're gonna
bigger,
get people.
the bigger fear is like global warming and stuff
Yeah,
like that, and all
global
those changes in
warming.
the patterns. Yeah, because it'll literally be like the world getting microwaved.
Yeah, we'll die. We'll be died off. Our carcasses will get shot off into space, pretty much.
But we'll die off to be reborn, you know, because this has happened
It's
before.
energy.
And then when it happened, you know, everything got frozen and things like that, and life ceased to exist for a period of time. But then we still exist, you know. Like
Unless Jesus comes on a spaceship and takes his people away.
it's possible, or we burrow into the world and we become like the next wave of ground people, you know.
Yeah, more people. They exist, bro.
I believe that.
Bro, and when you see them, they're scary. They're like, they're not black, but they look like they're actually black. Tar black.
Yeah, yeah.
Covered in fucking shit. Well, yeah.
Black in the same way that what's the mineral that comes from like volcanic action and stuff.
I know there's graphite,
Graphite.
or graphene. I know that's like that oily black substance that's talking about now.
Yeah.
Coal.
Yeah.
Charcoal.
Well, you got like coal and charcoal.
Yeah.
And then like sulfur's a byproduct. But I think it was like, and like phosphorus.
Well,
and stuff.
sulfur is white or yellow, and I just saw something crazy because somebody went to the ruins of Sodom and Gomorrah. We were talking about Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah last episode. Someone went to the ruins of Sodom and Gomorrah, and they saw pure sulfur, and it was like the crazy thing is like everything is an ash over there, and it's like it's ashes and like the things was like people turned into salt. This is Bible stories, right?
Yeah.
After so like they showed like this little egg, little shape, little white ball, and it was pure sulfur. And they burned it, and like you burn it with a lighter, and like it just burns, and it's like bubbles up. And they were talking about the remnants of this story in the Bible is still there. And the story in the Bible goes is like it rained pure sulfur down onto the people, onto the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. And the thing was like, don't look back or you're going to turn into a pillar of salt. And one lady looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. So like now, like this is all ruins where no one lives or something. Like if you live there, you probably like, you know, it's kind of like a Star Wars type of, like it look like, you know, like those, I don't know what they're called, those people who in Star Wars who wear the little like brown coats or some shit. They're just like in the desert.
Yeah, the
Yeah, minks or something like that.
no, not minks. Damn it. I was gonna say like sheiks, but I think the sheiks are the desert people out of Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, I'm not heavy into Star Wars. I'm gonna get fucked up for this one.
I should know.
You don't know what it is on Star Wars? the little chewies? What do you want from me?
Oh, you talking about the little guys?
Yeah, the little guys.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking of like the Raider type dudes, you know?
They're small looking Raider looking guys. They have like a little gas mask on, right?
Yeah, well, there's the bigger dudes, like the guys that were shooting at the pod race and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you got like the little ones, and they're like a subspecies, I think, of the same type of people. But they're the ones that like are the little dudes that like trade in technology.
Yeah.
And it is like really based off of
they're like slave owners.
your
fucking
barbarians
bastards.
and your Neanderthals or whatever, you know.
Dude,
It's like
those little
the
bastards
brawn
are
and the
slave
brains.
owners.
Yeah.
Those little bastards are slave owners.
Oh, 100%.
What
yeah.
the fuck? Like, they just gang up on you. Be like, yeah, I'd take on 20 of you, and then like 90 of them show up. Be like, oh shit, you can't do much of that. And they got guns too.
And they were enforced by like Jabba the Hutt and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, you ain't doing much.
Mad gang ties.
Too much. These little dudes just going and clouding around. But yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah's ruins like these dudes was living in, you know. And it was like, wow, that if it's pretty much when they go and they find a little evidence of the stories in the Bible, like it's like sulfur raindrops. Sulfur raindrops. Well, now maybe an asteroid or something would do that, right? Maybe like an asteroid or something, like collision or something like that, or like a volcanic eruption or some shit like that.
We definitely spread mineral and stuff. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, putting stuff into like the atmosphere.
Yeah,
as far as like certain dust and stuff that wouldn't exist up there.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know, because I mean, again, the Bible is a lot of words that's just been rewritten over time, and it's stories now. Like if these things can be claimed as like, you know, regular events, it's all good and dandy, you know. But the fact that it's there and I see it and it's like, oh wow, that's shocking. To a place that was like Sodom and Gomorrah, where they went against everything, that's what happened to them. It's kind of like, I wish people would clean their spirits and try to live better as in this land right here, because it's, come on now, we only got but so much time. We only got but so much time. And it's like, do you want to like clean up your act when you're fucking 65 on your deathbed and like, oh man, I want to do good now after fucking 60 years of shitting on people? Like, these corporations and businesses and like these frackers and people who are just killing the earth for the profit, for the money, for the greed.
Well, that's the hard part of the capitalism too. You know, it's like the embodiment. It's like, you know, like, because we glorify that, you know, like entrepreneurship and stuff like that is glorified. You know, people that had the balls to break through that glass ceiling and go after whatever it is that they were going after, and it comes at big costs.
Yeah, no, I just find it kind of find it kind of crazy that the story is just there in the Bible as actually like, all right, well, you see the remnants are there, and hopefully that just being said, people can cleanse their spirits and bring the shit on home, because like, damn, bro.
Well, it's the glorification, you know. It's like we glorify the making of money and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. Just that in itself can be glorified. So it's like people will do like terrible things and stuff, but they'll make their money doing it, and that is derived as success, you know.
Yep. And trying to feed people feed their mouths to feed. Right?
Exactly. And it's like, you know, something that we all want as well, you know, like we all want that security. We all want to be able to have a roof over our head and be able to feed the mouths that we need to feed. And not only that, but for the most part, we want to do that on our own shoulders, you know. It's like you don't want to be having to ask for help, you know, and like have to like rely on someone else, you know. So it's, you know, I think that's probably the biggest thing, that it is like you know, you overlook some of that other stuff because it's like, you know, well, they were self-reliant, you know, they were the person that people could go to and stuff like that, rather than being somebody that needed to call upon help. And it's a hard thing to do, to ask for help, you know. I think that should be respected more in society as well, you know, like the strength that it actually takes to actually like surrender oneself.
Yeah.
And be like, you know, whether it be to your fellow peers and stuff.
Yeah.
And just to admit like, hey, I need help, and to like, you know, get rid of that ego and actually strive for that, or whether it be to like surrender oneself to like the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, and have faith in like faith. And like believe that the universe will suffice and that God will suffice those things that you need. Because it's like a lot of people too will fight against just the surrendering to God.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, I wish people would. But here, the thing is though, right? there's forces, and these forces is just absolutely kind of incredible in the baddest ways. So say these same, all right, because where I'm fighting it is because it's like the regular person who wants to do good, and like, hallelujah, bro, give it to God, because at the end of the day, we're not really of this earth, you know. We're gonna escape it. We're gonna go 6 feet under. Our body's gonna be here, but we're gonna go somewhere else, you know. So it's like wherever this world is, we don't have to, like, you know, engulf yourself into it completely, you know. Just as a time, you know, you figure out what you living on this earth for. You live on this earth for your family, for your friends, you know. You're trying to keep a roof over your head, you know, figure out how the world that you live in, how it works, and you try to have to survive it. And, you know, that's the end goal, because at the end of the day, your biggest blessing is being alive. You already won the lottery when you're alive, period. So now it's something to do with it. Do something with it. There's making a family, or if it's saying something, or it's making a family, or being a name, or, you know, do what you got to do on this earth to fulfill yourself, to fulfill your fulfillment, right? Now, that being said, is like, yes, I can see things like that. Now, people go say, oh, it's not that simple. Because at the end of the day, there are these forces, right? And now these forces say, like, corporations or, like, parts of government, like CIA. Because, like, for example, it's 2022, right? Why does racism even exist, right? Why can't we have sustainable energy already when Thomas Edison made it, right?
Thomas Edison.
No,
You're
Nikola
thinking-
Tesla.
yeah.
Sorry. Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, Thomas Edison got
Fuck,
hardly created anything too
Yeah.
great. He kind of just got given everything that he needed
Yeah.
after like Nikola Tesla got
Exactly.
like, ripped off and then pushed out of the picture.
Even by me saying that as a mistake is exactly what I'm talking about. All right. Whereas people like Nikola Tesla who gave this shit to the earth already, well, what did they do to him?
Hey, write him on.
Killed
Yeah.
him. Fucking killed him. Right? Now, this is what I learned, right? There's a guy from Africa, right? He had a Sony television. He was like, you know, he has an idea. He wants to bring free electricity, right? So he ripped the plugs out of his Sony television, right? He put like a motherboard on it, and there's something that took like the RGB waves out of the light or some shit, and they created electricity out of it. Made a video. It spun around the Sony television, right? If I could find a video, I'll put it up. TV on, you can watch your movies plugged into nothing, taking RGB waves out of the air, right? Hey, African man, come to America, free flight. Poison of that.
There's no cable there.
Matthias, I'm leaving. It's been a pleasure working with you as always.
One of Zimbabwe's most celebrated technopreneurs, Maxwell Chikumbutso, has once again come up with a masterstroke innovation, and this time it is an embedded wireless power generator that uses radio frequency to power a television set. Chikumbutso demonstrated his latest innovation to a ZBC News crew at his base in Harare, whereby a TV does not need the electricity connection for it to function.
This is our self-powered TV that we have designed, the first in the world to have such kind of a technology where a television is powered with a radio frequency. So as you can see right now, I'm powering this television. So this is the first television in the world that uses self-power to say. It is all in one. You don't need to put it on electricity or on solar panel or anything. As it is a complete solution. Behind the television, you can see that there is a microsonic energy device, this box. This is the device that is converting radio frequencies into pure energy. As you can see, the power of the cable was supposed to be here. On all traditional televisions, power comes here, but there's no power, as you can see. The television is it is working as it is. So in layman, I think this television is we can call it a self-powered television.
It is indeed an exciting innovation that comes in handy for households without electricity, and even so, a relief to many in the event of power outages. Chikumbutso continues to fly the Zimbabwean flag high in the world of innovation, and this latest offering will put the country's map at the forefront of technological transformation. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
Watching this, and you know that the last thing this man needs to do is let anyone buy this idea from him. Like, he needs to be in full control. He needs to have like whole autonomy of his idea and his invention. So there is a fear of him getting bought out, which I have.
Right now, that's just one of the most recent people that happened to. There's documentations of hydro working and hydro engines, right? There's no reason why there can't be a boat that works on that works by water. There's no reason why there's a plane that can work.
Who was that? That was Jacques Francis or Francois or something like that. The dude that literally made an engine where it's like it takes like water and like splits the elements and then like rebinds them, and that rebinding process creates like a kinetic energy which can drive an engine. And so it's like he created something where it could drive an engine, and the byproduct or the exhaust that came out of it was literally just water.
See, but this the thing though. Like I've seen like now. This is the thing. This is the awesome thing about TikTok. That's why they're trying to rip TikTok down. People are getting too wise. People are talking too fucking much. And then you see these little images and like, oh, well, these are all of the freaking cars and freaking airplanes that's worked off a hydroponic engine. These are all of the little gadgets that's been to create freaking free electricity. All of this junk is free. Because it's all resources that God has already given to us. Mm-hmm. There's lightning bolts, isn't there? Capture that motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Capture the lightning bolt. There's right?
They're working on it. They're working on it.
Right.
That is a vast amount of power to try and contain.
But I mean, that's what it is like all of these resources are actually here for us for free. Right? We just have to. Now, I remember there's another TikTok guy, and God bless his soul, because, bro, this is information that's going to get people killed. He got like some copper tubes, right? Copper tubes, maybe say like 4 feet high. Take a copper tube and he like wrapped it up with some types of wires or some shit, stuck it in the fucking ground. Put some like little, device you can get at Home Depot on the shit to see how much the kinetic charge of it, right? Mm-hmm. Stuck it in the ground, let it shit sit there for like in the sun for a couple of hours, and you see that there's a kinetic charge. So it was like, oh, okay, bet. Took another couple of copper pipes and made like a little ladder looking thing that's like, maybe like a foot wide. Stuck that shit in the ground, had coils all around it. Put some amps or some shit on top of it, because to take the electronics, to take the energy and to resource it back. Stuck it in the ground. He has enough energy to turn on a fan. So he put a little fucking socket onto it. So you could plug a fan into it. Takes the little thing, he charges it outside. Just some copper and some wires. Puts it in the ground, takes it inside, lays it on the wall, plugs the fucking fan in. So this is all information that we don't know. Like, oh, bet you can fucking power your house. Just gotta know how to do it. Mm-hmm. No, but they will fucking kill you. They will kill you.
Oh yeah, straight up. That was like when they, especially with like the coils and stuff like that, trying to work out like perpetual energy and amplifying energy as well, where it's like you can take a source and then like produce it into a coil, and as electricity runs in a line, you'll have loss where it loses a perpendicular. So the whole concept, I believe, was to like make a coil where it was like a coil inside a coil, and each coil was wound directly perpendicular to the other coils. So it's like as you put charge in, that natural loss of electricity then flows into that secondary coil, which then in turn, as it travels through that, is then like re-putting it back into the first coil, and then between the two of them, they like amplify each other and just exponentially grow energy. And so there was a dude that put a video which you can't find on YouTube anymore, but he
wonder why. Dude, as soon as you make something a wave that's too big, that's why they want to rip TikTok down. Because it's like, oh, they want people to be... I swear, I think TikTok was an invention for... I remember there was a comedian that was saying, you know, before in the days where, you know, stupid people would walk off of cliffs, right? And it was this pretty much natural law of order. You know, the stupid kids fall off of cliffs because you didn't look where you're going.
Yeah.
Now the comedian was like, now everyone has a leash. So when your stupid kid goes to the fucking cliff, he wants to fall off, you have a leash. He's like, no, stupid kid gets back. And now that stupid kid goes on, he has stupid kids. The same continues, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
I've seen parts of it, yeah.
Idiocracy is that same shit. Right? So, but going back to the topic, is that TikTok was supposed to make stupid people. Go and do your fucking crate challenge. Go and climb the crates up 12 feet in the air and fall and die and fall on your neck. That is what TikTok was meant for.
See, and here I was thinking it was an advertising platform for OnlyFans.
Oh, and now the sex sells, so women can do that too.
Yes,
whatever sells, right?
I'm still monetizing, or going to monetize pictures of feet, you know? That's where the way is at, you know?
That's the way in.
You get some nice nail polish for my feet.
You can do some hands.
Shave the knuckles on my toes.
Yeah, get a nice what is it,
mani-pedi or whatever.
Mani means feet.
Or maybe it's a pedicure is your feet and a manicure is your hands.
Manicure. That's the only reason why I got one and said man in it. Mom was like, "Who you going?" I was younger. I was like, "No." And she was like, "What?" I don't even know. She was like, "Yeah, I got tricked into manicure in your hand because I got tricked. I said manicure, and they were sitting there doing my hands." I was like, "No!" They put fucking the clear protective coat on my hands, and I was like, I don't like this. And I went home. When I got home, I got the nail polish remover, remove all that shit. And then I remember one time she took me. I gotta stop doing that. Just telling everybody the secrets. You got a manicure. You got a pedicure. You're gay. Look. I'm that nigga. Oh! I was gonna say a bad word you can't say anymore.
I don't think there's anything gay about having beautiful looking hands, right?
There's not, but I mean, back in those days,
these are the utensils in which the Lord's works happens, you know.
Bro,
so you gotta look after your hands.
Bro, I'm a 90s kid, boy. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, no way, Jose. Not until Obama came in.
Oh yeah.
When Obama came in, he was like, you know.
I know, man. I still remember Zoolander from the 90s. You seen Zoolander?
Yep.
That was a great movie.
Great movie. It was different times back then. Can't make those movies now.
Yeah, you cannot.
But that's why you see how I came to speak just like last time. It's like, yo, we grew up in a different time where it was like, those words are just slinging. Those are just slinging. And there's no one who's hurting nobody's feelings who happen to be, you know, okay, cool. There's no one, those words are just slinging, but there was no hate being slung towards anybody who actually, well, can't really say that because it wasn't that prevalent back then and we were young kids. But yeah, there was like no hate. We were just talking to bros, talk like some freaking locker room talk.
Yeah.
Hey, F word, hey, F word. Yeah, I almost said it. Jesus Christ. Bundle of 6U, you bundle of 6U. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was just a different time back then, bro. It was an absolutely different time back then.
Thinking of like Voldemort, you know, where it's like it holds its power though by like the taboo-ness, you know, and like the words that shan't be said, you know, and it almost like empowers them because every time they are said, it's like such a shock. Whereas kids, you know, especially in the 90s or whatever, as kids, you know, like everything was gay.
Everything was gay.
You know?
Everything was fucking gay as a kid, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I remember because I got back on topic because I was so afraid to say it because I got a fucking manicure with my mom.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. Bro, everything as a kid is because you're a teenager, you're a preteen, you're a teenager. You don't want to do anything like that shit. Anything that's not gay is what you want to do.
Dishes are gay, manicures are gay.
If there's nothing in the
adults and adulting is gay.
If there's nothing in the refrigerator, it's a gay ass refrigerator.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and it's like, damn. All it is, it's like a
Yeah.
bleep, 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 bleep.
All we've got is, bloody, what is it? Magic ramen noodles and stuff. And it's like, oh, that's pretty gay. It's like, man, there's no nothing. It's like, it's not happy. It's not any sexual basis. It's just gay.
Yo, what is this? An inanimate object?
Yeah.
So you're calling me an inanimate object? I don't know, maybe. I guess you're two people now, right? You're they, them, you're multiple people. How many? 5? How many personalities you got? Shit.
Well, it doesn't even need to be people at that point, too, because, people can define as anything nowadays, if you're talking that. I mean, you got, the people that define as, like I am a wolf in spirit or whatever. Yeah, and those people that are just I think I was born a toaster. You know, and it's like I'm only here to make bread crunchy. I think that's my life.
Like, man, I'm only here for 8 hours. I'm just on the clock right now. Please don't make my day any worse than it has to be. Because obviously you're in a different world, bro, and I just want to go home and not deal with somebody like that. You're like, oh yeah, I'm a furry. Cool. You're gonna get your products and go. You know what I mean? Shit, it's kind of crazy. I didn't want to call it a mental illness because I was shying away from calling it mental illness, but it might be. I feel like a toaster.
I mean, I don't know.
You can feel however the fuck you want to feel.
That's what I reckon.
Yeah.
If you're not hurting anyone and it's working for you,
That's why I feel like, don't confuse the kids. Don't confuse the kids, bro. They're confusing the kids. Confusing the kids. That's like freaking. That's molestation of the mind, bro. Like, don't confuse the kids. Hi, I'm a toaster. You could be a toaster too. Really? I want a kitty litter. I want a kitty litter box in my freaking cubby because I want to shit in that.
Yeah.
And now apparently that's happening now. That happened already. If it happened once, don't
Well,
let
that's
chickens.
probably after, the people that defined as felines and stuff came into more fame, and it's like, oh, if they can be a cat, then I can be a cat. 100%. But it is hard, and I do believe that at some point there has to be some sort of you're free to believe what you want to believe, but at what point is your beliefs becoming so warped?
When it's getting people fired.
Yeah, and things like that, or it's becoming something where it's like
I have to worry about your feelings or YouTube's gonna strike my video with hate.
Yeah. Or it's like my life is suffering now because of these beliefs that I want to take on, and it's like I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say because
it's only hard to say because it's the chessboard that we have. It's the chessboard that we have. We have to be worried about someone's feelings.
Because to me, science is king. Science exists for if you spiritually want to define as something, then it's you can be a woman in spirit and you were Craig and now we're going to call you Carolyn.
Dude.
And that's cool and I can respect that or whatever, but at no point can you be I am actually a woman.
Yes.
If you were born a dude, then by science standards, even if you got the sex change and everything like that, you are always going to be a male by science.
But media standards, I guess, whatever you said, because there's no hate involved in the creating of this video whatsoever.
Yeah, no, there's no hate there.
But the thing is, someone can find hate in that. Someone can find hate in that. Someone can find hate in the words that I said already, and there's no hate involved, period. which is just you're asinine. It's asinine. It's a headache because it's like, yo, we all know at the end of the day. Look, I think it's like we were all innocent children, and we were corrupted by whoever, whether it was your parents, whether it was your teachers, whether it was the media that you brainwashed yourself to, but you were corrupted, all right? And now you have thoughts that one would say isn't of the normal, right? I absolutely believe in that there could be a woman's spirit in a man, and a man's spirit in a woman. I absolutely believe that because somewhat, I feel God might be somewhat of a comedian. You know?
Well, not only that, but we're all a balance of masculine and feminine energy.
Which is true. Which is true.
And it comes out to different, like, percentiles and stuff. So usually those that are, like, more creative in nature and stuff like that, you know, they tend to be more emotionally connected. And that's where their creativity, stems from.
Yeah.
But when you like look at the balance of like what sort of masculinity to femininity they hold, they're gonna hold a stronger balance towards femininity because of that like emotional connection and stuff that they have. Even though they are by science standards masculine or born a male, you know, they can still be predominantly feminine in their, you know, genetic chromosomes or whatever, even, and that sort of thing. It's like their spiritual balance and stuff like that
genetics
leans towards, you know, and that's the kind of person where it's like, you know, I feel that I should define as a woman, and I wouldn't fight against that definition.
I don't fight against that shit.
Like,
I think
you piss in the men's room, but you can call yourself Carolyn, and I'll respect that, you know?
Just know, you know, just like spiritually, everybody respects you.
Because at what point, too, does it then diminish what it is to be a man or what it is to be a woman? You know, like, because it's like I respect what it is to be a man, and I respect what it is to be a woman.
No. You know, like, because as a straight cis man, you know, when you know, right? Because it's like as men who we go, I mean, like, hey, normal, like I can't even say normally, generally speaking, straight cis men go after women, all right? And now you know what energy. You know that woman energy when you see it, when it's just like a fucking diamond. Like that feminine, beautiful woman comes in, like crystals are just flying off her body and shit. And you're just like, oh, you're like a dog. You're just like, oh, shit. Right?
Yeah, it's like the heart beating out your chest and stuff. Like,
Now, one thing that I noticed is when like, because I remember in high school, there's like some, there's, you know, LGBT people, right? And I noticed that energy where it's like there's a more of a very uncomfortable energy when you see like for a straight man. When you see a man who has that hyper feminine energy, it's very discomforting. It's just, I mean, that's just how it is for me. I'm sorry. Because it's like, I forget the word, but it's like when you see a robot who looks like a human, and it's like, but you know it's not a human, right?
Yeah, like a cyborg, you mean?
Yeah, and it's like it has like the unhuman like characteristics where it's just like you look like a human, you have hair like a human, you don't smell like a human, you don't talk like a human, and it's like what the fuck's going on? It's like I forget the word, and I know this is a hard word to remember, but it's like that. When you say is a straight man and you see like the word is like hyper like flamboyant. You know, there's gay, and there's flamboyant. Right? When you get to that hyper flamboyant energy and you're like, oh, male cheerleader who wants to wear a mini skirt, and it's just like I'm sorry. That can be portrayed as heat, which is horrible. I'm so sorry, but I mean, just my genetically, you know, whoa, not for my eyes, you know.
Yeah.
Not for me. But that energy existence is very discomforting. Oh, but you're what is it? Not transphobic, but you're like homophobic. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just,
homophobic, transphobic.
I don't know, man.
It'd be that sort of energy.
I'm just running away from energy I don't want to feel. This is weird. It's like heart pounding. But it's like, why? Ew, no. I don't know. I just think run. Run.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But it's like, it is what it is. It is hilarious, but it's also beautiful because so people like that are absolutely necessary. Cause who the fuck would make Prada or fucking thongs? A gay man made thongs, and God bless his soul.
There you go. I could believe that.
I believe it. I believe it. So I'm saying, like, all right, they have their purpose. It doesn't mean it's everybody has their purpose and things happen for a reason, but like the extremes with the acceptance of like I don't know what purpose. All right, I can't go there. I can't go there. There's some extremes where I don't see a purpose of. You feel me?
Yeah.
Extremes like can't go there because you got to be accepting of all people. So I'm gonna just stop talking right there.
Nah, you can go wherever you want to go. You know,
There's
because on the same token that you got to be accepting of all people, people have to be accepting of, you know, like.
Dude, it don't work that way.
No, but it must.
It must, but it don't. Because I already got shadow banned.
Because that's a fair trading on stuff. It's like, unless you're literally putting like hate out there, but
yeah.
But you're not, like, you're giving your perception to it, and whether people agree with your perception or not, it's their own provocative, you know.
All right, so let me just reword it. Let me be a smart man about this. I feel that there are energies that, because just like evil doers, right? I feel that there are energies that people express that should not be accepted at all. Just like murder, just like harm to a child. These are energies that people have expressed in history and people do express to this day. Mm-hmm. And I think that those acts of those feelings are absolutely atrocious. And for my own personal opinion, people like that belong in hell. Now,
I completely agree. I completely agree with that. So yeah.
Now that being
that's
said,
where it comes to like if what you believe and what you do is something that's going to harm another. So even when it comes to like the LGBTQ stuff and all of that, that's what I was saying. It's like, at what point does one's freedom of belief become to a point where it's like warped?
Yes.
And it's not like, you know, because it's like somebody that grows up in societal confinement where it's like these are the beliefs that are going to help you go far in life.
Yes.
As opposed to like, you know, somebody that, and in this instance I'm going to be like somebody that grew up with like gay parents and stuff like that, but they are openly flamboyant about it and they're that type of energy, you know, and they've made that work for them.
Yeah.
But then they transfer that energy onto their children, and that child might not be able to make that energy work for them because that's not truly what they believe. It's just kind of what they know. And now it's like you're setting up someone to be confused in that energy where it's like, well, you're open to be whatever you want and stuff like that. And then they infuse, like, you know, because it's like you see that, you would idolize it. These are the people that are raising you, giving you food, putting shelter over your head and stuff like that. You know, and if they're at a point in society where it's like they're not getting those difficulties anymore because they've gone through that hard time, like, they need to show the full depiction of what that is. And for such a young child, it's hard to give that sort of full imagery.
Dude. Yes, and
that's where it becomes like a warped sort of.
It becomes a warped reality, and it's like, whereas like, because again, we're born innocent, and then we are tainted from them, and what are we being tainted with? And that's the case where it's like, what are we being put on as a child? What are we being shown? And now, you know, no one's saying that having gay parents is a bad thing at all. Because I have gay friends, and these people are beautiful, beautiful, amazing people in my life.
Yeah.
Right? Now, that being said, is like, there's different situations of it gets a little fishy where like your child is being opened up to different things, for say like you're trying to transgender your child, right? Or you're trying to change, like trying to cut things on and add things on, whereas like they're a child, they're floating like the wind. They're not meant to make those decisions. Those decisions are going based off someone else's feelings.
Yeah.
Like I feel like my child is a woman. I feel like my child is a man. Right? So like, and that child is floaty until he's damn near 18. So like with things like with those stories like that, that's where it gets fishy. Whereas like these warped parents, these warped minds that's where I have a problem where I don't tolerate that shit. That's accepting shit that should not be accepted.
Yeah.
All right? That's not tolerance anymore. Like the father tolerates, you know, the son who may be gay. All right. The mother tolerates the daughter who may be gay. Right. That's what you tolerate, but you don't tolerate changing a 4-year-old child, cutting off his penis or something to add on a vagina because you feel like a child is gay. I do not tolerate that shit. Fucking, that's harm to a child. That's harm, that's sexual harassment, that's everything. That's harm to the child, period, right? I don't believe in shit like that. I don't believe in like
yeah, or any sort of focus on sexuality too, you know?
Yes, don't talk about sex to children, period.
Yeah. Straight up.
But people want to talk, apparently there's some class of people who want to talk sex to children by the age of 3 years old. Why? That's sexual. That's perversion. That's perverted. That's sexual harassment. They don't need to talk about sex. I don't even feel like when I was in high school. Sure, glad to talk about sex. You're already touching your penis. Talk about sex.
Yeah.
Fuck it. By 10 years old, 10, 11 years old, that's when you start touching your penis. Like, all right. Well, now we gotta tell you what that little white stuff is, you know. But don't talk about it. Leave that to the school, or leave that to the parents. Unless they're warped-minded parents. Fuck that shit. I don't believe in that shit because that's harassment to the mind, that's harassment to the child's soul, that's taking away their innocence. I don't believe in that shit at all. I don't believe in that shit.
Well, it's also like, you know, that's their own beliefs and their own upbringing and their own difficulties being like relayed. So I'm like, my guess would be that the main reason they try to do this is they try to take any obstacles they faced and going on their own path to where they are now, and they try and cap that, you know, or nip it in the bud. So it's like they explain these like sexuality things, the freedom of choice, and they open all these avenues so that it's like it's a fully explorable experience for their children and stuff. But it's like you know, you should be more worried about collecting stickers and bloody why magnets stick to fridges and shit like that at that sort of age, rather than, you know, like, should I have a penis or a vagina, and is it wrong to be interested in boys or girls, or, you know, like,
when those beautiful...
definitely warps their own beliefs and their own difficulties to a point of focus on a mind that is not developed enough to be able to focus on these things.
It's like, I'm an older brother. When those beautiful angels ask you those friggin' questions, because now I work with kids, and when they ask you those friggin' weird ass questions, you gotta be like that older brother. Be like, no, that doesn't exist. The stork gives you, you know? Yeah, play dumb. Be like, when I see kids and like they like, I automatically call out the teacher like, this little boy's booty popping on the other little boy, and I'm looking at the shit and I'm like, oh my god, I want to laugh. Hey, miss, yo, look. And then she was like, oh, and she goes and she stops the shit. I'm laughing my ass off. I'm out of here, bro. This is crazy. This is crazy, right? But girls are fucked up when they're young. Boys, like the girls are less innocent because they're mature. They get mature faster. Well, they're very innocent the same. They just know too fucking much. Or they just repeat shit really well. And you gotta like calm all that shit down because they're still stupid.
Well, I think it comes down to like this societal relevance too, to like what's put on girls and stuff too.
What's put in the media.
attraction and sexuality and things like that is definitely forced more into the female culture than the male culture, you know, like, because it's like no guy's ever been told like, oh, you know, you can be successful by just being pretty and marrying the right chick, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like you got to do something with your life, you got to have a dream and a drive and like go after something, and then you'll meet the right one on your path to becoming who it is that you are. Whereas girls can be just trained to, you know, like, you know,
smile,
be a
pretty,
good pet and be pretty, and you'll never have a worry in your life.
Yes, exactly. Now, I heard another comedian say, like, you know what the difference is for a fat girl, she's like a man, she had to work. It's comedian that is it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's true talk.
Finished up work before.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We intend to accept full responsibility for our errors, and we expect you to point them out when we miss them. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. And that is why our press was protected by the First Amendment, the only business in America specifically protected by the Constitution, not primarily to amuse and entertain, not to emphasize the trivial and the sentimental, not to simply give the public what it wants, but to inform, to arouse, to reflect, to state our dangers and our opportunities, to indicate our crises and our choices, to lead, mold, educate, and sometimes even anger public opinion.
Yeah, he was too good for his time, unfortunately.
Yeah, and sadly, he's like the last president that we voted in, like the people got to vote in. And it's a shame, but it's legitimately what they're saying is like a subversion. So for example, like anybody who we want elected, they subvert us from who we want, or they like plot on them. Say, for example, Tulsi Gabbard. She would have been the first woman president already. But as soon as she said something about Kamala Harris, they were like, she gotta go. And then the Democrats themselves went against her, ate her up, and spat her out. They spat her out of the election.
Yeah.
So like they subvert us, and they subvert us to vote for who they want us to vote for. So it is what it is. Like, even if we want to try.
Well, it's all also just like it's a democracy is the offer, but it's still always a dictatorship, and as long as we exist in a two-party system, that's what it'll always be, because it's like either hand is just a public face to an agenda.
Yeah.
That's what he's mentioning, it is the secret agendas and stuff like that.
Agendas, yeah.
And anyone that tries to foil that, as proven with him as well, or with JFK as well, it's like, yeah, you're gone.
It's just like the little tentacles that I'm telling you about before. With the Satanist, is like it works in all friggin' forms in government and in friggin' on the low end levels. And it's all about evils. So like whatever evils, like for evils to commit, because I mean for money is evils, right? Greed is evils, to plot and do things to kill someone.
Money isn't evil. The want of money is what's evil.
Power, the root, like power as well. Power is absolutes, right? So it's like with all these energies and all of these powerful people, you have a lot of, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yep. That's why, you give an honest man great power and great things can be achieved. But if you give great power to the wrong person, then tyranny is achieved.
Yeah. And it's a sad truth. And luckily, JFK left us with a speech to let us know that they are trying to tell us, the truths at the far end of our national security, on the thin line of our national security. So that mostly means through movies and news and politics and stuff. Try to connect some dots and look at life as you see it and connect those dots and see what you can pull together. But I guess with that, bro, it was a good ass talk.
Hell yeah, Britt. Keep your eyes open, right? Never stop studying. Knowledge is the true power.
Knowledge is true. But guess what? We don't know shit.
We don't know shit.
I don't know. We don't know what I'm talking about. Take care, guys. See you guys in the next one.